Actually, we can say Lilo and Stitch, right? People know
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh wait, can we actually say?
Gotta be sure just in case,
Right,
no, but
right, right.
good. Everyone knows that it was Lilo and Stitch.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about working with big studio. And I think people who probably are in school for film right now, they're thinking, oh, if I get to work for Disney, then I'll be on set. I'll be working with the camera
Oh,
people. I'll be working with the
yeah.
actors, working with the directors. People probably are thinking, you know, if they get a chance like this, they probably wanted to make connections on set. They probably want to talk to as many people as they can. They're gonna be like, oh, hey, I'm a uprising filmmaker, and let me know if you know anything happens. Did that happen to you? Was that were you able to make some connections? I have no agenda, and
Yeah.
I just thought it would be cool to, you know, reconnect um, with some of my film fellow film students and friends. You know, we haven't seen each other. When was the last time we see each other?
Seeing each other was probably Stitches. That one when I had
All
to drop
right.
the
Mm-hmm.
equipment back off to you. Um, Hung out. I wouldn't even know when was the last time we hung out. Like
Yeah,
probably,
I can't even remember.
yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, you graduated a year early, a semester earlier than I did, right?
Yeah, I graduated fall 2022, and then you were right after me.
Right. And uh, yeah. Well, how's it going? What's been going on with you in life? You know, specifically, you know, you being graduated for almost a year now. Yeah.
For a little over a year. Thanks
Oh,
for
for a
making me
little
feel
over a
old
year.
already. My God. Uh,
Yeah. How are you doing? How are you doing?
no, I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm doing okay. Like, right after getting out of graduation, I jumped into the Disney internship, as you know. So from the internship, I was able to learn a lot. I was thrown into the set of the live action Lilo and Stitch. So I ended up being thrown around into like three different departments, which was crazy, but it was fun at the same time. Good pay too. But so I started off in wardrobe, where pretty much I had to do a lot of the paperwork done during the fire that happened on literally the first day of filming Lilo and Stitch. The wardrobe trailer caught fire somehow, and I needed to backlog and file insurance claims for Disney to see what money they could get back. Then I was also with extras casting for a little bit. So I would check in the extras, have them do all their paperwork, and make sure that they got paid essentially. Then near the ending half of production, I ended up being put on set with the AD department, where I pretty much did whatever I was told to do, whether it was deliver food, make sure people didn't um make sure any random people didn't show up on set, or even just or just to be honest, just sit around, just wait for orders essentially and tell everyone on set to, be quiet. Um the sad thing about that one though is that like we didn't even get to finish the movie yet. Like we still have a full on like 2 weeks left of filming. Am I going to be brought back? I have no clue. Is production starting soon? I have no clue. All I know is that the potential release of Lilo and Stitch is supposed to be next summer, summer 2024, apparently.
Hmm. I apologize because Kai just jumped down here
It's okay, I saw.
and then he's moving around.
He's
He,
so big now. I remember when
he
he was
is.
just like a little kitten trying to climb up all the palm trees at the beach.
Say hi, Kai. Look at him. Okay, I'm gonna put you down. Okay. Uh, sorry, you were saying, doing everything. Freaking, he came back.
Not gonna lie, I wish my cats were a little bit clingy like that, but they're just always just
You go.
you can pet me if you feed me at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I apologize. You're saying that you were doing everything you were told, basically.
yeah. Um, so we were supposed to finish sometime in, I want to say, beginning of August, because we ended up having a lot of pushback on some of our days. And then we ended up having to stop all production due to the SAG after strike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So got laid off. A lot of people got laid off, but the one thing I can share is that we threw a big ass party at the end of production. I want to say there was like 140 people in the back lot of one of our warehouses. Everyone bought drinks, everyone bought their own food, and we all just talked story and jammed out to music, and it was honestly so fun. But yeah, after that, just got laid off and then took a break for a little bit and then just kept writing Queen. And then finally SAG after strike finishes up, and then I just finished shooting my most recent short experimental film this past December. Or this December. Wait, no, yeah, this past December. Frick. New year,
Mm-hmm.
new month.
Mm-hmm. Right. You just gave me the whole update. Uh, so let's go back to the Disney thing a little bit. I just thought it was a pretty interesting way to kind of end a school semester, right? Like you ended end up just going into it. It was a school program, right? They reached out to our department or our
Yeah,
program and asked students to be on set with them. uh, I think that happens pretty often when you are a part of a film program at a college, right? If
yeah.
there's any sort of local production going on, then they tend to come into school and ask you to join them. It's pretty interesting that it actually we can say Lilo and Stitch, right? People know
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh wait, can we actually say?
Gotta be sure just in case,
Right,
No, but
right, right.
good. Everyone knows that it was Lilo and Stitch.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about working with a big studio. Like, how did you feel throughout the process as a brought on intern ish type of role
Well, honestly,
personally?
I was honestly like a little overwhelmed just because right as I got assigned a date to show up, it was immediately just kind of like a go, 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 go mentality. Like like my first day, I needed to check in 12 extras to get fitted and paid. I had no clue what the frick I was doing. Like I just was told, pick up these documents, bring it over to this warehouse, sit and wait for all of these extras to get checked in, fill out their paperwork, and then you're done for the day. That was my very first day. No clue what the hell I was doing. Then, um, after getting walked through some of the general paperwork, I was able to just pick it up from there. But I never really knew how many different jobs there were when it came to this working for this big studio. Like my one warehouse, my one wardrobe warehouse had set deck, props, um, set dressing, um, payroll, accounting. Like in this one big warehouse, there was all these different departments, and each department had like 10 to 15 people working in each individual one. So it's kind of mind blowing, like seeing that there's so many jobs out there in this little warehouse here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think people who probably are in school for film right now, they're thinking, oh, if I get to work for Disney, then I'll be on set. I'll be working with the camera
Oh,
people. I'll be working with the
yeah.
actors, working with the directors. Is that? I mean, that's probably like a general assumption for students when they think about those type of job, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, like when I finally got moved on set, like Yeah, I got to talk to some of the actors a little bit. Like I got to talk story a lot with Courtney B. Vance, who's playing Cobra Bubbles. Really cool guy. Really chill. Really different energy. I don't know how else to explain it, but he had a little bit of a different energy to him, but he definitely felt like an actor. Um, but a lot of the time it's just they don't teach you this a lot from at least our film school experience is like when you're put in a different department, you do not jump into anyone else's department. You stay exactly where you're at unless told otherwise. And like I remember like wanting to help out in like the gaffing department or even like helping the director out with a couple things. Not even like giving direction, but just wanting to ask him questions. There was never time to do that. It was always um stay with the ADs, listen to what you're told, and then just absorb what you can from just watching.
How do you feel working with Disney here in Hawaii specifically?
I feel like this production was beneficial just for me seeing how many local people were actually working on set. Just because like a lot of local filmmakers or just people who want to work in this industry, they're not really seen in a lot of big budget production stuff these days. But right as I got on set, I really got to see how much local people was on set. Like even one of my ADs, like she was speaking pidgin immediately to me, and it was such like a good energy because when I was away in wardrobe for the first couple months, like for the first month and a half, um, I felt a little isolated, a little weird, just because it felt so different from like regular Hawaii-based work culture. And then right as I get on set, it kind of brought it to another level of professionalism, but showed that like us Hawaii people, like yeah, we can you know, we can joke around, we can potty here and there, but like we still can have like this level of professionalism in this field. So I feel like it was beneficial. Hang on, I have some other notes that I'm trying not to say. Um, um, but I feel like yeah, it was a good thing just because it showed a lot of us like it brought on a lot of our interns. They're locals from like Oahu and Lanai and stuff like that. So like they were able to really see that like there's people like us in this field to show that it's even possible to start somewhere. So yeah.
Me just thinking about the community itself, I remember we were doing the capstone for Mana's film, and we had a water scene, right? And then we had
Mhm.
a water guy specifically, coming on set to kind of give us directions, and then that was before Lilo and Stitch started, I think. And then she was the person he was talking about. Oh yeah, he's gonna be working a lot with um, Lilo and Stitch, and then he's gonna work a lot with the talents in the water because a lot of
Mhm.
things were shot in the water. So to me, what struck me at that moment was like, okay, so this is a very small and tight community. Like um, if you're in it, then you're likely to see a lot of the same people over and over.
Oh,
Specifically,
100%.
right? Like here in Hawaii, um, which I think it's a good thing because you get to bond with them over and over again.
Mhm.
And one last thing, did you? People probably are thinking, if they get a chance like this, they probably wanted to make connections on set. They probably want to talk to as many people as they can. They're gonna be like, "Oh, hey, I'm a uprising filmmaker, and let me know if anything happens." Did that happen to you? Was that were you able to make some connections?
Well, for me, like one thing that I wish I did wholeheartedly was that I wish I put myself out there a little bit more and I didn't let my anxiety get in the way because I don't want to be that guy to be like, hey, I'm an uprising filmmaker and I'm doing this project. Like, I didn't want to be that guy So I wanted to be that guy, but um for sure I made a lot of good connections from that because right after Disney happened, right after production got put on hold, so many more jobs, small jobs were lined up for me right after production was done. Like I ended up working on a really huge short film. I'm not too sure if I'm allowed to say for the project, but um that job, although not paid, I made a lot more connections, got to meet a lot more people. And then by doing that free job, I ended up booking a couple commercials with Aulani shortly after because I ended up meeting a lot of new people and connecting with the right people. Damn, I said people way too much. Let me rephrase that.
No, no, you're good. You're good.
No, but yeah, like I wish I put myself out there a little bit better, but by just doing this one job, I was able to make a whole bunch of more connections to lead me towards other jobs. Um, Even now, I had an opportunity to work with NCIS Hawaii just because it's the same um, ADs, the same PAs that are looking for people to essentially help throughout the day as day players. Turn them down, sadly, but yeah, it's very much word of mouth, our little film community down here. Like, I know this person, so I'm gonna bring on this person. But even if you can't put yourself out there as like this cool, bubbly person, one thing that I can say is that like just continue to work hard, honestly, and do your job and leave a good impression that way. And then show up for yourself more, the more projects you do. Because like honestly, I'm not too sure if I told you this. I didn't even want to go to college. Like, period. Yeah, no, I had that mindset of I'm just gonna get a job and I'll do my pictures and film stuff on the side. And then literally the last day I could have submitted an application to UH, I submitted it, and then now I'm freaking graduated. My only reasoning for going to college was networking, just because, or I thought I knew so much back then. Now I know nothing. Um, but getting to make those connections was crucial for just me in general, for both my professional and overall well-being. So I'm very glad that I went to college for sure. It's not for everybody, but if you want to make a career for yourself, getting to know people is probably your best bet, especially here in Hawaii.
Right. That's a really good transition. So, uh, so talk about a little bit about college there. I think you and I are in the same boat because I didn't really think I needed to go to college. I was running my photography business at the time in Seattle, but for me it was I needed I feel like you know I hit a level where I thought I didn't couldn't grow anymore. You know, I hit the ceiling in Seattle, so I was like, man, I gotta get out here and go somewhere else because I'm doing the things over and over. It's not like I don't like to have a set schedule to do the same thing, but I just felt like I couldn't grow, right? And I think one thing I kept asking myself right after graduating from UH is that it was it worth it? Like I start questioning my whole time at UH going study about film and everything. But one thing keeps standing out to me is the connections I made and then the friends I made during that time. I think for that alone, I would say it's worth it to go to school. But tell me a bit about what you thought about the program at our school.
Okay. One thing that we should preface though is that like our college experience is very different from other people just because of how long we were on Zoom
Mm-hmm.
due to the
Hundred
pandemic.
percent.
So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it was limited. Like I remember the very first project that I needed to film, like we only had three people on our crew. We were only allowed to film outside, and if we were filming any inside or indoor scenes, we needed to have a COVID monitor there. and like everything else was just on Zoom, and it was just very detracting. Like it was just like, I don't want to be here learning this if you're just going to be telling me to watch a YouTube video. Yeah. Um, one person told me this. It was an old boss of mine, um, whom I shall not name because I don't work for him anymore. Um, he compared the program that we went to. They, and I almost kind of agree with it, and I want to hear what you think about it. At Manoa, they teach you the theology of film. They can teach you why you feel the things you're feeling due to a certain aspect, whether it be the person's performance or it's the person's the way the actor is lit. But they don't per se push you to actually put those things into motion. And that could just be because they want to give us creative freedom. But what's your kind of take on that?
Did this person go to UH?
No, so they had a lot of employees, like they employed a lot of
Oh,
assistants that
okay,
were
okay,
from UH
okay.
and from other programs as well.
Mm-hmm.
He got to hear about what they were doing,
Right, 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 right,
and
right.
he kind of just made that
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense because I think he definitely had pinpoint one of the biggest, I think, not issue, but the nature of the program, right? I think a
Mhm.
lot of school is like this. You only learn theoretic theories and stuff that you learn sitting in the classroom, and the execution, the practice part is really lacking. And then to me, I think that's fair to say about our program. I wish we did more project. I wish we had more chances to, mess with the camera. One thing I really was curious about was the relationship between the equipments and students, because to me, I feel like cameras and equipments are like instruments. Like if you don't spend all day all night to mess with them, when you
Mhm.
get on set, you're not gonna know anything. Like you're just gonna have to relearn everything on set, which wastes time that we didn't really have
Yeah.
to film or whatever. Like our days were cut short to film things. We could only film on weekends, right? We couldn't get the
Mhm.
equipment out during the weeks. So it's that type of limitation that I think our program really had. And by the way, the timer just pop up on here, but we can just talk until it turns off. I think uh when it hits like 1 minute, then we can
Okay.
end it. But yeah, what is that your experience too?
Well, I don't want to put everything on the program for sure. Um, don't revoke my diploma. I worked very hard for that. Um, no, but like I think it could also, so I for sure agree with you that like more experience on the equipment is the only way for students to really retain anything, but it's not solely on the program. I also kind of want to say that it could also be the students. And this just kind of came to mind now because like they're trying to give us a well-rounded education when it comes to working on set because you never know what role you're playing till you get into the project. I mean, like you can hear whispers about it, but you never know what department you're going to be placed into. But
Sure.
at the same time, it's just like, is it stronger for the student to be well-rounded and versatile, or is it so important for the student to quote unquote specialize in a specific, because remember there were days where we would be working and we would rotate roles, like this person's director, this one's gaffer, producer, cinematographer.
I hear you. I hear you. I think that's the nature of the film industry,
Yeah.
because you are not promised a role anytime. It's not like, okay, I went to school to study to become a cinematographer. After graduating, I'm gonna hop into a set and I'm just gonna be the cinematographer, right? So
Yeah.
that makes it hard for people to wanting to specialize in an area, they kind of have to learn everything. I see that. I think that that pressure is there to teach students all the skills. What do you think? Maybe we can end with this. Do you think someone who came out of our film school program, if they wanted to make it into the film industry, what do you would advise them to do?
So they're just out of college, yeah?
Yeah, just graduate from the program, learn everything, but nothing basically.
Hmm.
And then they wanted to pursue film. They want to make it a
Well, I wouldn't
career.
say people who graduated know nothing. I think they know a lot. They just don't know how to apply it for
Right,
sure,
right.
or how to get started. My biggest advice is honestly just to keep in contact and make connections before you leave UH, because quite frankly, I had no friends in ACM until like my last year. Um, yeah, and it wasn't until I made those friends that I ended up really seeing the value in getting to know more people, especially in this field and especially in Hawaii. Everything is very much word of mouth. But if you want to start somewhere, start with the people you know. Be like, hey, if you have a project, I'd love to be the producer on this. I'd love to be the gaffer on this, and then take it from there, or even just start your own project and reach out to people. And then even if you don't want to do that, you can even do my potential route, which is just reaching out to local businesses to see what any forms of media that you can do for them, because that ultimately leads to the next job. Just making more connections and kind of finding ways to get started rather than planning on what you hope to do, because Lord knows sometimes things don't go as planned. So it's always just find ways to push yourself forward to keep creating rather than just thinking about it, planning it all out to the perfect T, because it's not going to be that way the entire time.
100%. Yeah, I have to talk to you more about projects and stuff after this, but I agree with you. It's really about your resourcefulness, right? How do you if you look around, there's actually a lot of things, a lot of people in your life that can potentially, give you a helping hand in one project or help you to get to the next project. Sometimes we're just so caught up on, oh, what I want to get, that the really next thing, right? Like, we want to get onto that big set, and then we really neglect what really happening around us,
Mhm.
vertically, right? Because we always want to look forward to something, but sometimes we neglect the vertical things that's happening in our circle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, well, this is pretty cool. I wish we could talk a little longer. But maybe in the future we can extend the time a little bit more. We've been talking about 33 minutes. I feel like this is what I want to do this year with this podcast, is to talk to friends I made during my program, and then see where they at, and then kind of just share a little bit about their journey. Um, Ultimately, I think we'll have to talk about this in another video, but I think with the economy right now, looking at how things are going with, the creator economy versus, the traditional film route, I've seen a lot of examples on people being able to do what they love, um, not in the traditional sense, making Hollywood big movies, but self-funded projects, or through YouTube, through social media, and then just making great stuff out there. So maybe we'll connect more on another video about this specific topic.
God, I
Um,
hope so. Not even.
yeah. So that's one thing. Yeah, we didn't even get to talk about the project we worked on together in the past, and then kind of share with people a little bit. Maybe we can do that too.
Next video.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully, eventually, I can get every mess cleaned up in this room. People can come and hang out, and then sit down and talk instead of doing it on Zoom. But yeah, I
We're looking
appreciate
forward
it,
to that.
Cody. Thank
Yeah,
you very
no.
much for doing this. Um, and by the way, I'm not planning on cutting this at all. So,
Ah, crap.
so this is just going straight on to YouTube. I'm also debating if I should start a new channel for this one, just doing it on the existing. Maybe I'll do it on the existing one for now. But yeah, let's connect after this. I'm gonna FaceTime you when we end this. So we
Oh,
can
100%. I was gonna say, please FaceTime me after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, should we end it here then?
Yeah.
All right, Happy New Year.